Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. The Martian! Awesome, so let's start off. I love realistic space movies. I freaking love space. I love, learning all about our history of space travel. And I like when a movie looks realistic and awesome. Apollo 13 is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Obviously that was a real story, and The Martian is false. Don't tell some people. Shh. But yeah, I freaking love these types of movies. So I was super on board when I saw the trailers for this, and so let's talk about it. So to start off, kind of speaking of realistic space movies, you can't help but talk about Interstellar along with this. And this is a less sappy version of Interstellar without creepy robots. So if you're a lot of the people that thought, Interstellar was too sappy with a weird ending, replace the sappiness with cursing, you have The Martian. And it's just as awesome as that sounds. Ridley Scott is very hit and miss with me. For every Blade Runner, Alien, and American Gangster, you get a Hannibal, a Robin Hood, or a Body of Lies. Like, he's really, really hit and miss. And so I was not really apprehensive. I always give him a fair shot because when he is on point, it's awesome. And even when he's off point, it's kind of just like, okay. Hannibal is probably his worst movie. Yeah, Hannibal's his worst movie. But, in this, he did good in this one. Like, he really has a cool way of trusting people to just figure stuff out for themselves. He doesn't have to babysit you and hold your hand. He just kind of lets you'll figure it out. He displays things, and you figure it out. And he does a great job in this movie doing that. So let's move into the actors, and let's just get this out of the way now. Matt Damon. All right, we good? So let's start off with the reason why any problems happened in this movie, any malfunctions, anything, is because you put this guy in charge of NASA. Why would you put Harry from Dumb and Dumber in charge of NASA? Actually, Jeff Daniels is really good. He turned in his normal performance. He's never that bad, and he was solid. So then we got Kristen Wiig. Got to talk about her. She continuously surprises me. I expected her to kind of be the girl trying to be funny, not doing very well at it, and she just keeps doing awesome roles and grabbing different stuff. She's not becoming a one-trick pony. She's all over the place and is great. She does great, and I'm really looking forward to her Ghostbusters. It should be sweet. So Kristen Wiig, way to go. Name actor that kind of stood out in this movie is Michael Pena, and he's just in like everything, isn't he? He just kind of, oh hey, that's that guy. But yeah, he's kind of the comic relief-ish, and he does a good job. Well done. So there's this girl that's kind of a part of Mission Control. She's kind of in charge of satellites or whatever. It's not totally explained, but as Ridley Scott, you just kind of go with it. And she's played by Mackenzie Davis. How do I know Mackenzie Davis? Someone please tell me. I looked at her IMDb. I don't think I've seen any of her movies, but she looks super familiar. How do I know her? Someone please tell me, how do I know Mackenzie Davis? Also got Kate Mara, or who I like to say is Rooney Mara's less attractive younger sister, and she types on a computer a lot. And she did that in Fantastic Four as well. And I think that's going to be her calling. Like, hey, we need kind of a nerdy, cute girl to type on a computer for a while. Get me Kate Mara! And then we got Donald Glover, who pops up and then disappears. And, he's great. And him and Judy Greer seem to be doing this all year, where they just kind of pop up, hey, we're going to do something, and then go away. It's really weird. And you're just like, man, stick around, you're good. And, you're not like your dad, you're not too old for this shit. So that's most of the supporting cast. There's a huge cast, but those are the ones that really stuck out to me. but everyone was really, really solid. So let's talk about the main guy, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
No, 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 no. We did that joke already. We're moving on. All right. So he is just super likable. His character in this plays off as an overconfident asshole, but you can really tell like it's more of a coping mechanism. Like if he doesn't think that he can, survive this, then he's not going to. You do see some vulnerabilities in there, and but he ends up just being the super, really, really likable character. Some of the flaw is he's almost too good. Like everything he does just works out. Like everything's awesome. And I'll go sort of more into that with spoilers. But yeah, every idea he has, even when everyone's like, "No, that's a dumb idea," he's like, "Well, I'm going to do it anyways," and it works out. Matt Damon is great in this.
Matt Damon.
God, no! God damn it, we're not doing that joke again! Stop it! Okay. But yeah, he's really fantastic in this. I really hope this movie doesn't kind of disappear. Because it's really weird. In my theater, they only had like 4 showings, even though it's only like a week old. That was odd. But anyways, yeah, really, he was really, really solid in this movie. You really are rooting for him. And, they didn't take a lot of time to because I was really worried that a lot of this is going to be like him, half surviving, kind of dead, depressed, sad. No, he does great. Like, he's just like, well, I can whine about this, or I can get some shit done. Speaking of getting shit done, so, some of the more hardcore nerds would... Oh, wait, hold on a second. So some of the more hardcore nerds would know that the book that's based on this, or that the movie's based off of, is got a ton of cursing in it. It's, as you would, because you wouldn't be marooned on a deserted planet and just be like...
Oh, fudge. That's broken.
So, but I think they handled it well being PG-13. They got their 2 fucks in. But there was still more cursing that was kind of filtered in. It was really done well, and it felt real because of that. So, of course, another thing, and why it's got parallels with Interstellar, is the science in it. There is one major problem I have, which I'll get into in spoilers. But for right now, it was all really, really, really good science, actually. Everything that I knew, at least, really panned out and worked. And they even talked about the One second. And they even talked about the Oberth effect. Hooray! But yeah, so it was awesome, cool science. You're like, oh, I know that. That's real. That's awesome. And I can sort of understand why people thought this is a true story. Which, by the way, if you think this is a true story, thank you. You are amazing. You make America. It wouldn't be America unless McDonald's having all-day breakfast is a front-page story and people thought a movie about a guy marooned on Mars was a real story. You are America. And, along with a lot of the science, again, you don't have your hand held, and Ridley Scott, just lets you figure it out or just go with it. Like, he doesn't want to explain every little nook and cranny. He's just going to go, this is it, this is how it works. And that's how all his space movies kind of work. Like, you don't get a lot of explanation in Alien of, how this ship works, why there's gravity. You just go with it. All his sci-fi is really a lot like that. You just go, and it's fine. And I really enjoyed that about this, where we can, not worry about having to explain why he's got air all the time, or where's the water coming from, all this. Let's just go with it. They give you a machine that's got a name, like the oxygenator, and you're like, cool, that probably gives oxygen. Let's just move on from there because we got other shit to take care of. But it's done realistically, where you're like, that probably exists or could exist. And everything about this really feels like, yeah, this could happen this way. And it's really cool that, it's really awesome, to be honest. They do this really cool thing in there where Matt Damon talks to a webcam the entire time. So you kind of get his inner monologue with him being by himself without him sounding crazy. And it's done really cool because you'd think, well, I still have power. My main problem is running out of food or this happening, that happening. So, but you want to talk to get your thoughts out. And so he talks to this webcam and has cool back and forth. And it's really funny and lightens the mood. It's really cool. I liked how they handled that. That was done awesome. So let's get into spoilers. All right, let's just freaking do it. So spoilers. Let's click on Planet Terror right here, and that'll take you to my wrap up. Spoiler time. All right, so here's my main problem with it. And don't get me wrong, this didn't hurt the movie that much, but it is something I couldn't help but think about. So the reason why they had to skip out of the planet and they thought he died and they left him behind was a huge sandstorm came out of nowhere and they're worried about their landing vehicle tilting over. This has multiple problems. One, anyone that's played Kerbal Space Program knows if you're worried about your ship tipping over, it shouldn't be tall, it needs to be wide. And so their exit ship was this long, crazy ship. And why would you build it like that? And also, why wasn't it tethered down? Like, they couldn't bring some rope and stakes and just cable this thing to the ground, because obviously sandstorms were going to happen. What did they think? The other problem is, and this is something NASA has talked about with doing Mars missions, is having, which they did have, like a space station orbiting, and when something like a sandstorm happens, you get in the ship, you go up, you just kind of dock for a while, and you come back down. Because the reason why this could work is it doesn't take as much rocket fuel to leave Mars because of the lack of atmosphere. And so that would be, it wouldn't scrub the whole mission for a sandstorm, you just delay it, hang out in space till it clears up and you come back down. Granted, then you wouldn't have a movie because once a sandstorm happened, they come back down, he's fine, we're good to go. The other problem with the tilting ship is basically the end of the movie. So they said, they got all these missions coming into Mars. It's like a rotating schedule like they did with the lunar missions. And they decided that they would send stuff ahead of time, which obviously is something they would actually really do. But they had the recovery ship already landed for the next mission. And that was his escape out to meet, the rescue ship. Problem is, if they're worried about the other ship tilting, how do they know they're not coming back to, when they land, that their ship hasn't already tipped over from another sandstorm that happened? It falls weird that way. That that's how he's going to leave, but why would the other ship tilt and this one didn't? I understand it's different areas, but these sandstorms can happen anywhere. So it's just kind of a weird plot hole that falls there. And another problem is, if they're worried about the ship tilting over and they know this is an issue, why isn't there something to help that? Not just tethers, but something that would tilt the ship back up. Or, it lands, I don't know, something that would, prevent this. It seems like this whole solution was very preventable to begin with. But then again, they put this guy in charge of NASA. That's my main problem. And actually, it's really easy to get over because Matt Damon...
Matt Damon.
Stop it.
Matt Damon.
Stop it.
Matt Damon.
Ah! Okay. I think I fixed it. We're done with that joke. Oh. Anyway, Matt Damon is just so likable that you forget about that plot hole and you just kind of go along with it and you're cool. So the other thing I want to talk about in spoilers is just nothing goes right for this guy and you're just like, give him a freaking break. Like every time you think he has stuff handled and ready to go, another problem creeps up, and then another problem, and then we're all set, and then another problem happens, then we're set, and then another. It's just like, oh my god, give this guy a freaking break. And the way this universe is set up, you're like, maybe he will die. Like, oh my god, and it's great because it builds so much tension. It's great, but at a certain point, you're just like, give this guy a freaking break. Like, everything just goes wrong for him. And you're just like, man, just let him have his potatoes. Alright, so that's, there's a couple things I want to talk about in spoilers. So let's wrap this up. This is a fantastic movie. I'm thinking it's way up there, like Mad Max good. Like, this is a really, really good movie for the year. Now, maybe it's because it just followed a bunch of garbage that came out, but I don't know. This is really, really good. I suggest checking it out as soon as you can. Along with that, because I know Gravity had the big, you need to see this in IMAX and 3D. Don't bother with the 3D. It doesn't help anything. Just watch the movie as is. So, if I were to rate this on a Gemini rocket, from a Gemini rocket to a Soyuz rocket, this would be SRB. So, check out The Martian. Thanks for watching.